had a successful VBAC and it was great. So if you're pregnant and wanting to have a VBAC or have a family or friend that you know wants to have a VBAC, or maybe you're just curious how much it costs to have a baby in the US in 2025, this video is for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Get to the background on how I had a C-section my first pregnancy. So my first son, JJ, I was new to everything. As you know, your first child, you don't know anything. Unless you already been in the field, been around other people that have babies, which I wasn't.
I don't know nothing about birth and baby.
I knew nothing about delivery or what to expect other than just that babies come out the birth canal. I did nothing to really prepare my body for birth. I never did any type of like exercises, drink any teas, no dates, nothing, no pineapples. I was just lounging on the couch. Like my third trimester was about eating ice cream and cookies, maybe going for a walk or whatnot. And it wasn't until my doula, I actually had a doula, who came in my third trimester, and she told me like, hey, you guys gotta start preparing your body for labor. Just do some curb walking, drink these teas. And I'm like, what? And I was like, so unprepared. She gave us that walkthrough session about 2 weeks before I went to the doctor, and they told me that I was gonna be induced. So really didn't have much time to prepare, and I was new to everything. So my first pregnancy, I didn't do anything to help my body. And I heard that the first pregnancy, your baby's more like stubborn, or your body's more stubborn. Like it doesn't go into labor as fast as it would the second, because it didn't really know what to do. So anyway, I don't know how true that is, but my body was, was still like, we're good. We're going to keep the baby inside. Long story short, because my son was growth restricted, the doctor urged me to get a induction, which I was like scared more for the baby versus like researching inductions and what that could do in delivery. Long story short, I got an induction and my labor ended up stalling because of the Pitocin they had me on, and then they urged me to get epidural. All that was, anyway, I ended up having a C-section because my labor stalled, and then my baby boy was high in the birth canal. My body wasn't bringing him down because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. It was a bunch of like, I can't believe this. And I ended up having an anxiety attack in the OR, and it was just a bad experience for me on delivering because I was very scared. I didn't mentally prepare for a C-section. After having a C-section, I was like, never again will I ever have another C-section. This was terrible. Immediately after I had my baby boy, I was just so in love with him. I was like, I want a million more of you. Like, you're just so beautiful and precious. Like, oh. But then delivery, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this if, I don't know, like I can't have another C-section. So after I had my C-section, I was like, okay, never again will I have this again, because this is just terrible. I had a whole anxiety attack because I was just laid out in the OR and I couldn't move. For short, I was like, how am I gonna have more kids when I'm too afraid to even go through the delivery process again? I had my son, I started having dreams, like before I even thought about baby number 2, that I was gonna have another VBAC. My doctor was gonna be there, and like it was just gave so much comfort to me, like knowing that God had showed me, you're gonna have another VBAC. Like he is going to bless his experience for me. And I was just like, I had so many dreams of VBAC. And in my heart, I just knew God was showing me visions of peace and comfort in the delivery room that I was gonna have, having a vaginal birth. And I was like, this is comforting to know like God has already shown me, I got you if I ever want to have another baby. Fast forward, I found out I was pregnant, and immediately we go to the doctor, they have to put down delivery, and somehow they put down C-section because I already had one. They had to put it down again. I don't know what the whole process is about that, but I hated seeing C-section on the paper when I knew in my mind and my heart that God had already told me it was going to be a VBAC. So anyway, the medical system is confusing. So I went to my doctor and basically let her know like, hey, my birth plan is to have a VBAC, and they explained to me that it's not called a VBAC, it's called a TOLAC, which is trial labor after cesarean. So they're gonna like basically you trial labor and see if you can have a VBAC, but it's not called a VBAC initially. It's called a TOLAC. And I immediately found that my doctor was not confident in VBACs. She did not really encourage them because of the fact there's a 1% really small chance of a rupture. And they make that 1% very large. They make that the focus. I know my doctor was saying that she had a close call with one of her patients, and ever since then, she just encouraged a C-section, which to me takes away the confidence in a woman's body and puts it back into medicine, which I totally disagree. God made our bodies, and I know he made no mistakes. And if we put our trust in God and the way he made our bodies and give that the confidence and patience it deserves, then I think that we'd be more successful in vaginal births again versus these high C-section rates. The main thing I did was encourage my mind and my provider that I was going to have a VBAC every appointment. I don't care if first trimester. I let her know, I'm going to have a VBAC, and until she got in her head that, okay, we're going to encourage this VBAC. Reason why I want to have a VBAC, and everyone always asks me, why are you going to VBAC? Why is it so important to have a VBAC? C-sections aren't that bad. For you, C-sections aren't that bad. For me, it was very scary. I had an anxiety attack. I was laid out. I couldn't move. I wasn't meant to prepare what they were doing. I never liked surgery, and it's just something I didn't think that I should be doing in order to bring my baby into this world. Now, emergencies, worst case scenarios, it's a great option to save my life and my baby's life if that's needed. But just to say, oh, let's go do a C-section without actually needing it, to me just seems like it was unnecessary. And also, I wanted to be where I physically push my baby out. I wanted to trial that labor. I wanted to go through the natural process and experience how God made my body to perform, and just being able to push my baby out and have him be on my chest, and that whole first cry where I can move, I'm not numb. Like, I wanted that experience so bad. Very important that you have a good support team, labor delivery team, and even pregnancy team, keeping your mind focused when you want to have a VBAC, because there's so many discouragements, especially in the medical field, and providers are like scared for VBACs or don't know much about them, or just let's just do a C-section where I can intervene in the labor process of taking your baby out, which is, like I said, it's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you don't, and you want to be back, it's very important that you have your partner who's on board with you, like parents, friends, like find a support group. And the main thing is find a doctor who will do it. Like, if you have a doctor who's saying, no, I really don't want to do that, I would highly suggest you try to find somebody who has had many VBACs and is willing to do that and encourage them. Now, with me, I did take things in my own hands. I did prepare my body this time for VBAC so my body can go into labor naturally. Now, there's one thing they say that, you have to do is your body has to go into labor naturally. And that's something that the medical field does not have patience for, is waiting for your body to go into labor. They think that the due date is the actual date they give you, like, if you don't go into labor by then, or it's gonna be a C-section, which is not true. But anyway, there's ways you can help yourself prepare for a VBAC. I did do literally everything I saw online, to eat, to drink, to exercise, to meditate, everything I did. So I drank the raspberry leaf tea, pineapple juice, I ate the dates, I did curb walking, I did the mile circuit, the yoga, I did the YouTube videos on how to go into labor all the time, I did squats, the deep squats they talk about doing, I did all of that. I ate pretty healthy my third trimester. I did cardio workouts, the Grow with Joe days workouts, I did those. I did all that to prepare my body so it naturally would go into labor. And one other thing I did is mentally, like I said, meditate, and also I visualized labor I wanted. I was manifesting it, praying on it, just focusing on God, casting all my cares to God, letting him know like how scared I was, how anxiety I had about the situation, because they kept saying uterine rupture. But I also started finding videos online of people having successful VBACs, which is why I want to see this video for those people who are maybe researching and seeing how many people have actually had them. And it's not many videos out, maybe people aren't really sharing as much, but here's a video. I had a successful VBAC and it was great. Make sure that when you're believing for something, you have a tunnel vision of like, oh, this is gonna happen. Here's success stories, here are positive things. Don't look at the scary stuff. Don't look at somebody who says, I failed my VBAC. Like, you can watch that after you had your VBAC. Don't watch it before you're trying to get one, because you don't want any negativity creeping your mind to make you think that you might not have it, which can be easily done. Everything needs to be positive and focused on having the VBAC. So here it is. I am almost 40 weeks. I know my doctor was like, I would feel very confident if we could just go ahead and put on the books a C-section for April 1st. And I almost cried in that office room. I was like, there's no way you're gonna put a C-section down for me. It's just like, it was almost as if she was like, I'm getting you to this time. If you don't have it, then we're gonna take matters in my hands and I'm gonna have a C-section. Just hearing her say, you're gonna have a C-section, just scared me and also defeated me. Like, you mean to tell me that there's a point in this pregnancy that if I don't have this baby, that you're gonna just make me have a C-section? And after that appointment, well, during that appointment, I let her know, I was like, I just feel like you don't have trust in my body and that God designed it to do what it's supposed to do because of a previous experience I had. And she was like, I do have trust in your body. I'm just trying to make sure that you're safe. And she was just more like, she doesn't have trust in my body. That's what it mainly just summed it up to. So I feel like it's safer if I intervene with surgery for delivery versus you delivering yourself or trying to deliver. And that appointment, I was crying, and to my husband, I was just like, I just feel like I don't have much hope, like, in my provider supporting me through this. Like, she's the main person I need to help me get through this. Long story short, my next appointment, that very next week, she let me know. She's like, you know what? I was thinking a lot about what you said during our last visit, and I removed the C-section off the books. We're gonna give your body a chance to do what it needs to naturally, and if we need to intervene, we can do some type of induction. She said, like Pitocin induction, and she's gonna give me up to 41 weeks to do that. And after having that talk with her and let her know like how much support I needed from her to have me back, it really encouraged me and let me know that she did think over, and like she's like, maybe she was enforcing the surgery too much and not giving me confidence that I could do it. So the main thing you need is a supportive provider. Moving on to me being almost 40 weeks, I came in for like routine checks to make sure the baby's heart rate was good. Everything was still good. It was just that he was still in there comfortable, not ready to come out yet. My body was not forcing him to come out yet. So I started doing all the things in bulk, like more raspberry tea, more pineapples. At this point, I was overdue. And then I tried this thing called I don't know what it's called, but it's something you take castor oil and you in some type of tea, like it's a smoothie you make.
Reduce your labor, and you need something that's going to be effective. Well, I have a recipe here for you today. It's the Midwife's Brew. 300 milliliters of apricot juice, 2 tablespoons of almond butter, 250 milliliters of lemon verbena tea, and 2 tablespoons of castor oil.
I didn't do the smoothie, I just did the castor oil. I had 1 teaspoon of it, and then my husband had me outside running sprints, and then I drank a whole bunch of raspberry tea, and I kid you not, 3 days later, I was going into labor. On my birthday. On my birthday, all day long, I was going to labor. Which lets you know your body will go into labor. It will not forget we have a baby here. I'm back in triage, and they told me I'm only 3 centimeters dilated, so technically I'm not in active labor. And look at my crazy husband over here. Went to labor on my own, and the morning of April 1st, I was in the shower, and I just knew like this pain I never felt before. This was real labor pain. I naturally went into labor on my own, and it was coming consistently in waves. So I was like, this is what I've been seeing in other people's videos about them going to labor, like how it starts and stops every 2 minutes. And I was excited at the same time. I was in miserable pain, like it was very, very bad. So I went to the hospital, and the doctor was like, yeah, you're in labor, go ahead and get you out. So I had to be in triage for like a couple hours because they didn't have a room available. And just laboring there was not ideal because the room was so small and it was very noisy. Like, it was just no like intimacy of the room. There's other people like right next to you, and I didn't want to be like vocal about how I was feeling. Like, it was just, I wasn't as comfortable until I had a room because it was so busy that day. I was like,
why are so many people having babies today?
so I was able to labor without any medicine or any type of intervention on my own for a couple hours until I got a room. And once I got a room, I was still able to do that. They did want to have the heart monitor on me, so they can monitor the baby's heart rate. And that was just one thing I was like, I don't really want to do that because when you're stuck in one position. But we made it work. They let me do 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. Where I was on the ball, I was moving around, and had to lay down in the bed for 30 minutes, make sure the heart rate is good, and just rotate it, which was fine. Now, my doctor did let me know, she's like, in the event, the worst case event, where you do need to have a C-section, that your uterus may, you know, the 1% where it ripped, she wanted me to have an epidural. That way I could just go into surgery and not have to be put to sleep. That's something that I did agree to. I said, okay, yes, I will have the epidural. But I know the epidural last time, I laxed my body way too much to the point where it stopped doing labor. So I was afraid of that this time. So I let her know, I said, hey, my fear is that this will relax my body way too much and won't allow me to continue laboring. And she let me know, like, okay, what we can do is not do it in the beginning, allow you some time to labor on your own, and then we'll have the epidural. So then, as I was laboring, they kept checking me. Oh, 6, 7. So at 7 centimeters, they wanted me to have the epidural. The thing is, I did not get a good one. The lady who gave me an epidural, she was like, you should feel it in the center of your back. I felt on the left side. I said, no, it's on the left side. The next time, she's like, you should feel it in the middle of your back now. I was like, no, it's on the right side. And I was like, does she not know what she's doing? I only got in the center, but somehow I still felt pain down under. Aren't I supposed to be relaxed? Anyway, one point in time that I think there was a concern of his heart rate dropping, but somehow I kept my peace and I was just letting God do his thing.
We gotta turn you. He's not happy. Okay. Cause she can move him some,
but the peace I had and the confidence in knowing that this was going to happen still was in my head the entire time until it came to pushing. At that point, I was like, I'm so exhausted, I'm defeated, I can't do this. And that's when everyone, my provider, my mother, my husband, started to speak life into me and say, you came this far, you want this VBAC, you can do this, you can push them. And then I was pushing to the point where I was like, okay, this is gonna be my last push. I'm gonna give everything I got in my whole entire body to push him out. And I'm telling you, I felt the energy of the whole room behind me, ready just to go full force to do this. And God let me do it. I pushed him out. And that moment was so surreal. I was like, this is God. Glory to God. Because you told me this was going to happen. This moment has happened. Everything has been smooth. Thank you. Like, you came through, God. Like, you never, ever, ever wavered from me. Like, you always stood firm on the promise. And here it is, my promise. And it was such a surreal experience. I wish everyone who is pregnant could have just a peaceful birth like that, because it was beautiful. To compare both births, a C-section versus a vaginal birth. For me, when it comes to labor and delivery, a vaginal birth is harder because for a C-section, I just was on the operating bed. But the thing is, for me in a C-section, it was more of a mental game to keep calm as the doctors worked to, deliver my baby versus me actually physically doing it in a vaginal birth. Now, when it comes to recovery, I would say C-section is worse for recovery. You're much more sore. Your mobility is not all there as you would as a vaginal birth. Vaginal birth, you are sore, but not as sore as a C-section, and you're not sore in a different place, like your stomach, which is a very tender spot. Like, only thing you are is just vaginally, like where you have the baby at. So overall, I would say labor and delivery, I would definitely choose The vaginal, even though it was very, very hard during labor and delivery for vaginal birth, I would feel like my stomach was being ground up in a meat grinder over and over and over, intense every 2 minutes. I would still choose that because of the fact that I got to be able to be aware and physically deliver my child. It was such a beautiful experience after the physical trial of bringing him in through the contractions. It was so nice, like for a C-section stay, like I was there almost a week and I got so many nurses I was able to speak with, and it helped me, and all the food and stuff they provided. Like you were there for a week and you got to know so many people, and it was nice. Like the stay that long was awesome. For a vaginal birth, they pretty much kept me 24 hours and half a day. Like it was just a day and a half. It was like, all right, you're good, go, we can go home. Like, what? I want to stay longer. Like I enjoyed being catered to and having to send my baby to the nursery at night so I could get some sleep. Like all that I enjoyed. I feel like the emotional feeling about delivery different for me, definitely for both. First, with the C-section, I felt defeated, like I did something wrong, like I didn't successfully deliver my baby, like somebody else had to help me, and I felt so defeated. And now looking back, I could tell myself, why are you feeling defeated? Like your baby's alive and healthy, like you were able to have a successful live birth, your baby's here. That's something to focus on, not the way you deliver your baby. But after having my vaginal birth, I was so victorious. I just felt so confident. I was just praising God, like he redeemed my birth. So I just say this to say that I was very grateful to have the ideal birth that I asked God for, and he came through for me. So I just think that anyone who wants to be back, you definitely do the same thing. You can have a VBAC. Don't let anyone fool you. As long as you got God and you're determined to do everything it takes to give your body a chance to do that to labor on its own, you can do it. All right guys, I'm back. Yes, it is the next day. I wanted to make sure I got the accurate charges for how much I was charged for every single item while I was in the hospital. So let's get into it. So I got my glasses so we can be very precise here and get into how much all this costs, because it's out of that much. Put the glasses on so I look more, I don't know, educated, but I don't really need them to read all this stuff. Let's get into it. Guys, so I'm gonna start off with my charges, and then next I'm gonna go to what they charged me for my baby. Here we go. So the breakdown of all this, it's a lot. I'm gonna hold it up over here. So the hospital, they just had this big group called the hospital, but the breakdown is the OB, $3,104, pharmacy, $500.36, IV, $274.50, and then I had a bunch of labs, and I'm just gonna just say lab and get the prices for each one. So I had a bunch of labs. First one was $94, second one was $885, next one was $396, and the last one was $417. That's a lot of money in labs. Drugs. So I'm not sure what the difference was between pharmacy and drugs. Maybe, I don't know. I did have during my labor, like I told you, they did administer through the IV some solutions. Maybe the IV itself costs money, but the solution is different, which is drugs. I don't know, but it's $160.84. Then recovery room, $1,700.13. Then I had these random medical services. I think that was coming from people coming in, helping me like with changing my bed and giving me things for myself, like, you know, personal items, measuring like how much blood was coming out of my urine, like all that stuff. Like I think all those different services that people would come in, check my vital signs, I think those are called random medical services. First one was $2,996. The second charge was $3,800.33. This is the big one, the treatment room, $6,511. I believe they called treatment room the labor and delivery room. So I was there the longest because they didn't have a bed for me in the recovery room. So maybe I was charged more because I was there longer than the recovery room. And then last but not least, this is the second charge, the anesthesiology, which is the epidural, the one I told you that she had to do it 3 times before it could work. But anyway, it was $3,000. That's a lot of money. So the total of all this ended up being $23,000. What? And I put on the screen the exact price. So that's just for me. Now they did charge me things for my baby. All right, so when it came to his hearing test, they called it audiology. That was $497. Also laboratory labs, like it's taking his blood and making sure everything's okay with him, like jaundice and whatnot. That was $1,028. Nursery. Now he was in a nursery, hanging out there at night and whatnot, and I guess they took him after they had me, like, I don't know, whenever he's hanging out in nursery. $1,990. All right, next was the operating room services. This is coming from the circumcision. This was $2,992. And then pharmacy, I'm not sure again what that's for. Maybe they gave him something like pain meds. I don't know what babies can take, so I don't know what pharmacy but he got. I don't know. But this charge was $451.25. And then preventative services. So when the doctor came in, I guess to check on his vital signs, test his vision, blood pressure, temperature, all that right there for me and take him. That was $177, so that wasn't bad. So the total of the charges for my baby boy was $7,135.
Oh my God!
I did not have to pay it full because I do have insurance. So the breakdown for that is my services for insurance. Insurance paid $20,000. I owe $3,000 and some change. For insurance for my son, paid $5,603.25. So I only have to pay $1,500 basically. I'm very grateful for insurance, but these charges here, I mean, like crazy. Like, that's a lot. Just to be in the recovery and treatment room was a good bit of money. They called my room for the recovery room a private room. I'm like, well, aren't all rooms private? I don't know. So the total cost without insurance to have a hospital birth, charges for me and my son, anesthesiology, everything, end up being around $30,000. Was it worth it? Heck yes. And I'm very grateful that insurance came through for me, so I paid $30,000 out of pocket. And I'm also grateful for all my providers and everyone there, because the staff at my hospital was exceptional. They were amazing. Like they always were. The first time I was with my first son, they were great. And the second time, great. And I'm so grateful for them. And just to have a healthy baby boy, I'm healthy. I'm very grateful. But this is how much it costs to have a baby in 2025. Guys, what do you think? You're in another country, how much does it charge to have a baby? And if you had a home birth, how much was that? Guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. This is my VBAC story and how much it costs to have a baby in 2020. We got some great videos coming for you, so I hope you stick around. We got some juicy series coming. Love you. Bye.